Intrusive thoughts, creepypasta story. Time first bad thought came on an ordinary Tuesday. I was washing a cup, warm water, soap, nothing strange. Then a sentence rose up inside my head, in my own voice, like a bubble breaking the surface. Drop. I didn't. I placed the cup down and laughed at myself. People think odd things all the time. It means nothing. The second bad thought came that night when I stood at my kitchen window, 4 floors up, quiet street. A cat moved across the pavement below like a shadow. Lean forward, just see how it feels. I stepped back so fast the cupboard handle hit my ribs. I told myself I was tired. Too much screen time. Too much coffee. I closed the blind and went to bed. Sleep did not help. The thoughts did not stop. They were not loud. They were light, like breath on the back of my neck. Not a shout, a suggestion, a what if. What if you pour the salt into the coffee? What if you call your boss and say everything you should not say? What if you stick your hand where your hand should not go? Each idea was small, silly, and wrong. I did not do any of them, but each one left a trace, like a fingerprint on glass. I started wiping my mind the way I wiped the counters, again and again, until my hands hurt and nothing looked clean. I told no one. I did not want to sound dramatic. I am not dramatic. I work from home recording and editing voiceovers. It is quiet work, steady. I like steady. On Wednesday, the elevator stopped at the 2nd floor, though no one had pressed the button. The doors opened. Empty hall, fluorescent hum. Step out. I pressed closed door in a panic and kept my eyes down until the elevator moved. When I reached my floor, I walked fast to my apartment and locked the door. Then I locked it again. Then, one more time, as if there were 3 locks instead of 1. I stood there and held the knob, and I realized I was waiting. For what? I didn't know. For a thought to tell me to unlock it. To go back out. I could feel the command forming like a cloud. It did not speak that time. Something else did. A soft tap-tap at the hallway side of my door. No voice, just the sound. 2 knocks, patient and neat. I did not open it. I watched the peephole. Nothing moved. That night, I wrote rules on sticky notes. Do not feed the thought. Do not argue with the thought. Notice. Name. Let go. I stuck the notes above my desk. They looked like the rules at a swimming pool. They made me feel safe for 1 hour. By midnight, the notes felt like a joke. When midnight comes, every small sound is a big sound. The fridge becomes a truck. The pipes become a voice. I tried the breathing technique I had read about. In, out. Slow and easy. A new sentence rose up in my head. Not loud, not slow, just certain. Don't breathe. I took a sharp breath like I had been pushed underwater. And then I stood and walked to the sink. I held the counter and stared at the faucet. I turned the water on. I let it run until the steam fogged the window. Stop, I said out loud, to no one, to my own head. Stop it. The water hissed back. What if you can't? I went to my desk and opened a new project. If I worked, I would be fine. Work is steady. I read an ad copy into the mic. At Harrow Street Storage, your space is our. The waveform crawled across the screen. The voice in my headphones was my voice, but I heard something faint underneath it, like a whisper below the floorboards. I turned the gain up. I boosted the low end. I pressed play again. Your space is our. And then a second voice, almost on the same syllables, almost the same tone, only a hair late, like a bad echo. Let me out. I stopped recording so hard that the file name corrupted. My hands shook. I told myself it was a plug-in glitch. It had to be. Reverb tail. Bleed from a previous track. Logic has bugs. I could fix bugs. Bugs are steady. I made tea. I sat on the couch. I looked at my phone. The lock screen showed the time. 3:03 a.m. I never see that time. I am asleep at 1 o'clock. But there it was. Cold blue digits. A notification waited. On the screen, it was a text draft I did not remember starting. The predictive text bar offered the next word. Left, middle, right. 3 choices. Do not text at 3:03 a.m., the draft said. What if we open the 3 suggested words were all the same? Door. I hit backspace, 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 clear. I set the phone face down. The couch fabric felt rough against my palms. I grounded myself. Blue mug, brown rug, yellow sticky notes. I could name 5 things in the room. I could hear the hum of the fridge. I could smell the mint of my tea. I was okay. Tap, tash, tap. The door. It was the same 2 neat knocks. Not urgent, polite. Like a neighbor would knock. I walked to the peephole and looked. No one in the hall. Just the red door across from mine. I had never seen a red door in this building. I stared at it. Apartment 4B. My neighbor's unit had always had a grey door with a scuff near the bottom. This door was clean. Red like a stop sign. Bright as if it had just been painted. My hand moved toward my own lock. I did not turn it. I pressed my ear. To the wood, the hall was quiet. I counted 1, 2, 3. You're not real, I whispered to the idea that wanted me to open the door. And then a whisper came back in my own voice from the other side of the door, from the red door across. The hall, from the vent, from my own chesty, could not tell where. I am as real as you let me be. I did not sleep. At sunrise, the red door was grey again, scuff and all. Daylight makes bravery cheap. I felt foolish. I made eggs. I worked. I told myself I was under stress. I told myself that thoughts are only thoughts. I told myself that words are only air. At lunch, I found a new sticky note on the fridge that I had not written. The handwriting looked like mine if my hand had been guided. It said, check the lock again. Count to 9. Do not drink the tap water past 12. I laughed, and then I tried to tear the note. The paper ripped, but the words stayed whole. I do not know how to explain that. The tear passed around the ink like oil around a rock. At 11:50 that night, I filled a glass from the tap. At 12:01, I took a sip. The water tasted like coins. I dumped the glass and ran the tap until it turned cold again. I told myself, taste is subjective. Minds play tricks when told to expect a taste. I told myself many things, and none of them helped. The mind that tells you to calm down is the same mind that is scared. It feels like trying to lift yourself while standing in your own hands. So I set a trap. I turned on my audio recorder and left it running while I slept on the couch. At 3:03 a.m., the room is the deepest part of the pool. If something swam there, I wanted to catch its shape. In the morning, I pressed play. Silence, soft breaths, the fridge truck, pipes talking, then a whisper, my voice, as if I had turned my head toward the recorder and leaned close. Are you awake? Another voice, also my voice, answered. I am now. You should tell them. Tell who? The ones who listen. The ones who like stories. Let me wear your voice. Let me be heard. The file went on for an hour. In it, I told my own voice no. My own voice told me yes. We laughed at each other without joy. We repeated the same sentence. It is only a thought. It is only a thought. It is only a thought. And then the not quite me said one thing that made my chest go cold. It's not about you. It's about the reader. I closed my laptop so hard the table shook. I walked to the window. I opened the blind. The street looked normal. A dog dragged its owner toward a tree. A bus hissed. A child in a yellow coat jumped over a puddle. Fine, I said to the empty room. You want a story? You get a story. Began to speak to you. Yes, you. The person with the phone or the laptop or the TV. The person with the lamp behind them. And the little piece of dust on the edge of the screen. The person who just blinked because I said the word blink. Intrusive. Thoughts are not commands. They are sparks. They are static. They are the way your brain checks doors that are already locked. You do not have to open those doors. The thing in my apartment hates that sentence. It wants me to talk about how strong it is, how it can push, how it can make the floor tilt. But the truth makes it smaller, and that is why it knocks. Tap, tap. Yes, I hear it now. It is polite. It is patient. It is in a hurry to be you. Maybe it is already there, wearing your voice for one small second. Maybe it just told you to look at your hands, so you did. Maybe it just told you to swallow, and now you are aware of your tongue. Maybe it said, don't think about the red door, and your brain gave you a perfect picture of a red door, whether you wanted it or not. That is its trick. It says don't and lets the picture bloom. It tells you that the picture is the plan. It is not. A picture is not an action. A thought is not a sin. It is a cloud passing. You can let it pass. The thing hates that I said that, too. It is banging now. Not hard. Still polite. Tap, tap, tap. It wants me to tell you a rule that will trap you. It wants me to say, if you think X, you must do Y. But there is no must. There is only noticing. I notice the fridge hum. I notice the tick in the wall. I notice the warm cup in my hand. I notice the air going in and out without any help from me. The thought tries a new angle. Make it viral. Millions of views. Millions of minds. A million doors. It is smart. It knows the words that tempt me. Money, attention, being seen. It wants me to dress it up and send it to you in a shiny coat, so it can sit beside you while you drive, or cook, or lie in bed in the blue light. It wants to whisper, what if, over and over, until you cannot tell which voice is yours. I will not dress it up. I will name it instead. I call it Not Me. Not Me lives in the gap between a thought and a choice. Not Me is the second echo on the track, the predictive text you didn't choose, the knock at a door you do not open. 2 nights ago, Not Me tried something new. At 3:03 a.m., the red door across the hall was red again. The paint shone. The scuff was gone. The numbers looked fresh. I watched through the peephole until my eye watered. The door opened without a sound. Inside was a room like mine, but flipped left to right, like a mirror. I could see a couch where my couch should be, a window where my window should be. There was a person sitting on the couch. They had my hair, my hands. They turned their head toward my door exactly when I leaned closer to the peephole, as if we were two people on a video call who moved at the same time. They smiled, my smile, but too long, not a grin. A patient, polite smile, knock-shaped. Their lips did not move, but my head heard the words, "We think the same thoughts. We can save time if I think for you." I stepped back. I felt my heel touch the rug. I said, out loud, "No, thank you." It sounds silly to say it that way, but it helped. The shape in the red room tilted its head, like a teacher when a kid gives a creative answer. Then the door closed. The hallway was grey again. The scuff came back like a scar. Since then, the knocks have been softer, but the thoughts have been sharper. They arrive wrapped in my own memories, my own worries, my own love for tidy things. They say, "You forgot the stove. You left the door open. You said something wrong. Fix it now." I fix what is real. I check the stove once. I lock the door once. I send a text. If I sounded short earlier, I was tired. Sorry about that. I do not fix the cloud. I let it pass. That is the part not me cannot stand. I am telling you this because you are listening, and because I promised not me a story, and I am keeping my promise in my way, not in its way. I am telling you this because if your brain ever throws a spark and calls it a plan, you will know to sit with it and watch it fade. You can name 5 things you see. You can feel the chair under you. You can hear the air. You can let the wave arrive and leave. And if a thought arrives in your voice, wearing my shoes, saying tap tap like a polite little neighbor, you can say, "No thank you, not today." Now, as I finish this, I hear the soft sound again. Tap tap. It is careful. It wants the last word. It wants to end on a hook so clean that you will carry it with you. Into the kitchen, into the car, into the blue 3:03 a.m. It wants to be the last taste in your mouth. I will not give it that. Here is my last word instead. You just remembered the red door. That is okay. Doors can be red in your mind and grey in the world. The door is already locked. You do not have to check. Your breath is already moving. You do not have to tell it how. If you need a sound to end this story, use this one. The kettle clicks off. The water is ready. Morning is here.